All right, and welcome to the G2Z Audio music channel. There we go. Or just G2Z Audio. That's how you'll find it. G2Z Audio. There you go. And it's been a while since I did a video before. I was actually surprised I had been to see like just so many views actually. Well, I mean, not so many views, but more views than I expected. There we go. I'm gonna go with that. um, and I wasn't sure if people were even, watching or, checking these out. Um, so I figured it would be important to create some more videos and, you know, to kind of help other people, learning guitar. Because this is one of the things I love doing. I love music. I love playing guitar. Um, Getting the chance to share my knowledge and teach others, um, especially other people who, um, blind, low vision, whatever, who are wanting to learn to play guitar. So, so one of the things I'm going to focus today on is strumming, how to hold your pick, and the placement of the guitar. So that was because I know I kind of went over things really fast in like my first couple videos, just rather shortly. So this guitar I'm holding, it's an acoustic electro actually. I can plug it um, into an amp or interface or anything that has a jack. So and also I have a strap. Some people for some reason don't use straps when they're playing acoustic. Sometimes they just like to put it on their leg, but it's definitely important to get a strap because it helps. You don't have to try and hold your guitar and also try and learn how to strum and pick and form chords and all that kind of stuff. That it's a lot harder, like I said, when you're trying to balance it on your leg. Even though there is a cut in the body, in most bodies, which is what that hump is in the middle. That's the whole point of having that hump, is so that you can balance it on your leg and strum. But then you kind of end up having to be in a bent over position, sort of, and it's not always the most fun because you still have to sort of balance it. So with a strap is definitely the best. And so, like I said, there's a lot of videos they talk about that won't talk about pick placement or like how to hold your pick, and of course if they do, then they're trying to show it to you visually, where I'm just going to talk about it auditorially. There we go. Audibly. Always choosing my words. So the type of pick I have, it's a little bit of one of the bigger ones. Fender makes these, and they're pretty much like the size of Doritos, what somebody said. Like, oh, you want the Fender ones, the Doritos. And so I was like, yeah, that's the kind of picks I want. Um, and it's not just because of the size, but also the thickness. So when you go into a store and they say, what kind of picks do you want? Uh, you know, they'll say, medium, light, heavy, and that is the thickness of the pick. So, and this one I'm using as a heavy pick, but like I said, it's kind of one of the bigger ones. And like I said, it seems like only Fender makes these ones. Not that I'm like plugging Fender or anything, but they make the picks that I like, and mainly because of the surface of grip that I get. I'm able to hold them really well, and how I like to, or at least I've been trying to figure out a way to refer to it. I think the best way to refer is it's almost like a 3-point hold. So the thumb at the center of the triangle, and then your three fingers, index, middle, and ring, on the opposite side to form a nice grip. And for strumming, this is another thing. This is one of the most important things that you can focus on when learning to play guitar. Learning the rhythmic patterns. You know, whether it's or just or like you know is really important to start there. This is one of the most fundamental things you can do is your timing. And so let's talk about how I'm doing that. Everything from my arm placement to wrist. And like I said, I've just discussed about how I'm holding the pick. Like I said, in my thumb. And how I'm also doing, I have it basically, my thumb is to the closest end of the tip of the point, basically. I'm holding, because picks are shaped like an arrow. And, holding the back end of the arrow, the flat side. And like I said, my fingers, index, middle, and ring, one side, and my thumb on the other side. I kind of have a big hand, so that's also another reason why I use these picks. But I think having using the most surface you can grip onto, whether you're using a bigger pick, a small pick, you want the most surface that you can grip, because you don't want to drop a pick. Trying to find a pick on the floor is not fun whatsoever. So hang on to your picks, or even if it accidentally drops in your body, it is not fun to do that. To have to freaking undo your strings and reach inside the body of the guitar to grab a pick. So once again, let's talk about strumming. Back to strumming. And so how I have my arm. So of course you have the body and you have the hole and the strings. And where my hand kind of lies is basically right over that hole. And my arm, the guitar sits kind of in the crevice, like basically just right behind, like right in where your arm kind of moves, right at the bend of your elbow. Or you're basically, kind of like your arm muscle in a way. A lot of ways it's almost like on that not pictorial, but forearm. There we go. Or just like that arm muscle, kind of like when you go to flex, it's going to be kind of like at that muscle, and like I said, just behind where your arm is bending. And the kind of movement I'm using, because you want to keep your wrist and elbow together. You don't want it to bend, and you almost want to strike it almost like you're doing a karate chop across the strings. So, and this is the most efficient way to strum, especially if you're playing heavy rock music or punk music, anything that requires a lot of energy. If you just use your wrists, you become really tired really quickly and easily when you just use your wrists. And over time you can injure your wrists doing it that way. So it's best to use your arm, your forearm, and your hand. And once again, you're almost forming. Think of like you're forming one cohesive thing that you're swinging. It's pick, wrist, arm. So that's pretty much strumming, you know. Also for chords, um, you know, so if you're just beginning, maybe you already learned some chords, but I'm just going to go over a quick, fun little power chord thing. And so the easiest way to grab a power chord is the two top strings. Or actually, they're referred to as bottom, but just for semantics, um, you know, the strings that are closest to the ceiling, the two heaviest. And how we're going to form this chord, and you're almost going to make like a clamp in a way. So you're going to take your thumb and you're going to feel the back of that neck. You're going to want to feel the bottom of the neck, that high. You know, you're going to feel that bar, the metal bar, which of course is the fret, and it's that at that first fret, and this is an F. That bar all across, you know, at the high E, that's an F. The low E is an F. So it doesn't matter. Like I said, they're both Fs. And how you form this chord, you want to feel the bottom of the neck right into that, just like flush, right into the crevice of your hand. And you're gonna feel your thumb over the top of the neck, and you're almost gonna want to like you're grabbing a tree limb, you know, like are you grabbing something, like you're, you know, you just want to use that strength of your thumb and your index finger, or like your hand strength that's kind of naturally there, and you can kind of just form that clamp. You'll feel the bar. You're gonna feel that bar kind of go into the flesh of your hand. And once you have this nice, once you get, like I said, remember, you don't need a ton of strength. You shouldn't need a super ton of strength. I mean, I know on some acoustic guitars, if you haven't changed the strings, or, you know, it hasn't been set up properly, you might need to use a little more hand strength. Or if, you know, but if it's all set up, you shouldn't need a ton of strength. You know, just always remember, start out with your hands as light on the strings as possible. Just start pushing down until you get a chord to ring out or a note to ring out. That is the most efficient way to use your energy, because like I said in one of my first couple videos here in the channel, it's so easy to overexert yourself. You know, especially, you know, whenever you get into playing, you know, strumming, picking, you know, you're playing a solo or chords, you're just getting into, we start exerting way more energy than what we need to, and so you always want to have a good starting point of how much energy you really need. But like I said, once you get this clamped down, you can move it up to the next fret, and the next fret, and the next fret. You can just do power chords all day up and down the neck. And another thing about that is that you'll feel that space. Like I said, you can feel the two strings into your, like I said, into the flesh of your hand, and where it is, you're gonna feel your thumb. Like I said, your thumb's gonna be over the top of the neck. You're gonna kind of form, like I said, you're gonna just kind of, almost like I said, that. Think of it as that tree branch or whatever. You kind of reach up, you grab it. You know, you kind of make that, like you're just kind of grabbing onto something. You know, and you want to hold on to it to keep yourself from falling in a way. So, and when you do that, that gives you a good amount of force to really get that power chord to come. And those strings, because you're making the bar chord. This is the first thing you need to really build that strength for bar chords and double bar chords and just power chords in general. There's a couple different ways to do actually a number of different ways to do power chords. Uh, Actually, let's just go over that real quick. Of course, any power chord is just two notes, two strings. Like that's an E power chord, and that's played on the second fret of the A, and just the E and the A. Also, like I said, you're gonna really feel where it's, like I said, for strumming, you definitely feel the front of the body, and when I mean, because it's gonna be, like I said, if you have a strap, it's gonna be close to your body. Your forearm's gonna be over the front of it. You should feel your hand right by that hole. If you need to, you can use your thumb, to kind of reference that. That's where you get most of that F. Like I said, it's going to be almost like you're doing that karate chop motion. So work on this. Have fun with it, because that's a big part of music is having fun, you know, creating, enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then what's the point of doing it? All right, I'll talk to you guys in the next video. People, there you go. People. All right, bye. Come on.
Stop recording.
There you go.